Hi, good morning. This is our level 1 to 2 presentation by the Links employees. So first I will be introducing the Hangman Project. So Hangman introduction. Hangman is where one player thinks of a word and the other tries to guess it by suggesting letters within a certain number of guesses. It is classically played as a paper and pencil game, guessing game for 2 or more players, but the version we've made it fit for a computer versus player, where the computer chooses the word. So a demo. This is just to split the string, just so that we can edit the word into some extra features we've had were quit please. So if the player guesses quit please, then it would break the loop and stop the code if they want to stop the game. And over here is to remove the blank. And then this is to replace the blank with the guess or letter. Some issues that we've had. So some issues that we had to solve were we were unable to replace or compare parts of the string easily when replacing and comparing the guest letter to the parts of the secret word. Instead, we had to Google how to split the string into a list so that we could use append, remove, pot, insert, or indexing functions to replace parts of the string. Next, John will introduce the pandemic research.
Yeah, so this is the second project, pandemic research. So as just an introduction, so as the pandemic spread, more and more cases were confirmed. And so governments were taking action to try and curb or flatten the curve. So essentially our project looked at the cases confirmed, and we tried to see the effects of the government trying to flatten the curve. So some of the key features. So first it was just like a line graph with different lines. So one for Quebec and Ontario, and one for the average between the two. And then we also used something, well, two libraries called Matplotlib and Pandas. So Matplotlib was for like the data visualization and graphing, while Pandas was used for like data manipulation and analysis. So first we had to get our data from Excel. So we first got the CSV file from the government website, and then we took out the things the data that we wanted, and we also calculated the average between the two, and also the days when the first case arose. So now a demo, and if I wanted to run it, this would pop up, and it's an interactive graph. And as you can see, um, the government were kind of successful near like the 100 days, but then it kind of got out of hand after. But if we actually wanted to zoom in on some of these points, you can see how like the government kind of were successful for like a few days. Here you can see that it's flat, and also down at the bottom when the cases just started to get into the hundreds, there were also a few days where the line was relatively flat. So this is around like 20 to 25 days after the pandemic started in, in Quebec and Ontario. So what were some of the issues? So the top two issues we faced was that first, when we started, we pasted the entire CSV file in, but when we actually tried to view it, it looked a bit messy and there are too many variables. So we only copied and pasted the one that we actually needed, and it allowed for easier use. Another issue was that the function, when you're graphing the line graph, it takes all the data in it. So for example, if you just put the CSV file as the data, it just graphs it all on the y-axis. And so to combat this, as I said before, we assigned variables to certain sets of data, and we also clarified what the x-axis was, so all the other variables were the y-axis data. So thanks for listening, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
This is the game. So this is the Hangman game we made. So we really did not put any time into the presentation, so it's mostly about the game, really. So this is what we did. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna run this. So right here, about here, this is the difficulty thing. So we used a if statement to find this, to actually make this. So over here, it says how many tries we can get. It sets the so if you type in either of these, it'll make the tries the respective numbers. So I'm going to put in medium. So over here, the highlighted word, this is normally not, this isn't going to be shown in the actual game, but over here, we're just using this for test purposes. So if we put in F, that's true, and this becomes F. So we did this because of this function, print guess. We labeled each of them for clarity. So this loops through each word in the hidden word, and if we don't know what it is, it appends. It makes it a blank, and if we do, it puts the correct letter in, and then just puts it over there. Used pandas and matplotlib.pyplot to actually make this. So this is the result. So we use matplotlib to actually make most of this, to plot out everything. So this is just the attributes for the for what's it called, the graph. This is the dates on the x-axis, the dates on the y label, and then this is just the title of the graph, and then the legend, which assigns everything over there. So that's really all there is to it.
Good morning, guys. I'm going to be presenting the COVID-19 and Hangman projects coded in Python. And so just a brief table of contents. So first, we're going to go over Hangman, the issues, the key features, and then we're going to demo it. And then we're going to go to the pandemic research project. Again, the issues, the key features, and then the demo. And then finally, we'll look at some lessons learned. Now I'll move on to the demo. So the way I program this game is you want to play it split screen. So here is the graphics UI. And then on the left here, on the terminal, we see the word is loaded, and then the word is cosine. I didn't even know that was a word, but okay. And then, so if we start guessing, we get what? Oh yeah, start guessing, it fills in on the UI, and then if I guess, for example, Z, it starts drawing the hangman, and if I keep guessing wrong, yeah, so I already entered Y, so I could re-enter, and then if we guess one more time, then it says game over, you took too many guesses, and then it tells you what the word was. And next I'll move on to the pandemic research project, and so there's a little more issues for this one. So the first major one was figuring out how to read the file and finding a way to actually output the data. And so in terms of reading from the file, I took, of course, the data from the Excel file, and then I took only two columns that I needed, which was the date as well as the cumulative cases. And then I basically read each line, and I put each day and each number of cases into a list. I kind of searched up how to do this, but I split it by the tab and as well as next line, which is the /n. And so now let's do the demo. Here's the screen. And so we have the axis laid out, of course, all done with Turtle. And then it asks for the color of Ontario. So I'll just go with green. And then color for Quebec, I'll go with blue. And then it starts drawing it. I want it to go faster, but the speed is already at 0, so can't go any faster. And the last line is the 7-day average. I think it's for Ontario. And so, yeah, so I made it so when the user enters a color, it saves that, and then it's able to output a legend here. And that's why it's easy to read the graph. And so I guess in terms of how long it takes for the COVID crisis to flatten out, I guess it's almost flattened out by the end here. The slope is almost horizontal, at least for Quebec. And with the 7-day average, you can really see the correlation. So like there's at the beginning, there's like a small hump, and then at the second hump, I guess you can see a huge spike. That was like wave 1 or something. And then it slows down here, and then it rapidly increases. And then that's wave 2. And yeah, that is the code.
So like this is so it's 3-letter word that it pulled. And you can just guess a random letter. So if I guess Y, and it tells me that's incorrect. So it tells me that, and then it just deducts one guess that you have. So if I guess like it's still wrong. And basically like it's drawing the stick man.
Do a vowel.
E. Okay, so I think the word is
Okay.
the, because I know it. So then like it tells you win, and it tells you win. Do you want me to show you what happens if it lose? Okay. Blah, 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 blah. So and then like if I keep guessing Y, it just tells me that I lose, and like it goes red, like tells you you're bad, basically. Okay.
I decided to draw the line graph in Turtle. So here I imported it and I titled it Cases for Ontario and Quebec. And so here I made some lists for the confirmed cases in Ontario and Quebec, and for the date for both of them. So here I made Turtle 1, which is the original. The graph is a little bit messy and you can't really read the text here in the corner. So here's what it says. So basically the days for Ontario, they start from March 15th, 2020, when the cases reached about 100. And so it ends at June 30th, 2021. And so for Quebec, it starts at March 19th, 2020, when the cases reached about 100 as well. And it ends at June 30th, 2021.
This is basically to define the variables and others. And for the import words and like from words, import words, I made like a whole words aisle full of the words you gave us. So those are all the words that are used in the game. And okay, so like doing the defining get valid words, word equals choice, random choice words is basically choosing a random word from the list of words. And I had like little, I don't know what you call them, like little underscores to fill in like the blank words. I'll show you when I'm doing the demo. This is my code for like making sure that this is a valid number. Okay, so we first have to see like this code is basically saying that like you can only have one letter essentially. So you can't type like a number or something that doesn't work And you also can't like code a letter that put in a letter that you already put in. It wouldn't register. It says like you have already used that letter, guess another letter, and I will run the game. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It has like blanks telling you how much words are in, how many letters are in the word, and then you just guess the letter A. And then it tells you like you have how many lives left and how many letters you've used. So you just guess the word. I'll be giving it to Andrew now to demonstrate the pandemic research.
This is my code. I used pandas and matplotlib. So I imported the functions and yeah. And then I read the data from my Excel files. So the data you downloaded online from the government's website. So first I filtered everything so that it's only Ontario for one, and filtered the other one so that it's only Quebec, and I deleted the rest of the useless information which we don't need. So it only shows the province, the date, and the cases. Now, I use that data and converted it into a Panda data frame. So as you can see, it's the name of the file, I think, and the columns are the, so basically I'll print it in the order of, so I'll say the province, and then the date, and then the column, the amount of cases, and it'll print it in the order. So I made it into a, two graphs because the dates don't line up for some parts. So you can compare the Ontario and the Quebec case counts side by side. And these huge lines is because the government decided not to give you cases on I think it's Christmas. So basically one day would have 0 and the other would have all the cases. So it just showed this huge number.
Okay, so this is my Hangman game. I mostly worked on this one, and Oriana mostly worked on the COVID-19 graph. That's how we split up the tasks. Yeah, so okay, first I'm going to explain how the entire game works. So I'm going to run the game first. So do you guys want to guess a letter?
Yeah, A.
Okay.
E. Yeah, let's start with the vowel.
So I'm just going to let you guys guess because for fun,
I. O. U. T. D.
It might just be a really random word because I'm using the words.txt, so it's just
B.
a huge bank of words. Sorry?
B.
B.
L. I.
There's already I.
Oh, yeah.
So if you type I, then it just tells you that you already guessed it.
Oh my god, what is this word? It's so random. M.
You have one more chance.
I don't even know what this word means.
R.
R, okay. I personally think that the last one is S.
Yeah, probably. Yes. Oh, what's the last one? If you get it wrong, it's
I think it might be Y, actually.
what?
Because
Oh, do Y then.
let's try Y. Oh,
Cool.
it is Y. I don't know what Lyrebirds is,
Yeah.
but yay, we did it.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Oriana, and today I will be presenting the pandemic research project for my group, the project that I did with Ivy. So I will be taking you through an overview of the project, some of the issues I was trying to solve, the key features of the program. I will be providing you with some lessons learned, and you will also get to see a demonstration of the actual code. So on to an overview. For this project, we were tasked with creating a graph based on pandemic data using Python. We had to use data and learn to filter out the data we had to use. In this case, we had to create a graph describing the number of cases in Ontario and Quebec throughout the pandemic. And with the graph, we are supposed to identify when the curve will flatten. Now, I will first be talking about some issues that we are trying to solve. In this case, you had to use data to extract information and form a graph. And you had to use a graph to determine when the curve will flatten. And the challenge was to create a graph in Python, and there were some issues when I was doing this because I had to try to use a lot of different types of code, and I had to experiment a lot because I planned to do something different than what I ended up with, and a lot of the times it didn't work or the turtle would crash. So in the end, I had to figure out something that would work and that would actually be able to appear on the screen. And we also had to use the project to figure out how many waves of the pandemic there are. And basically for this part, I had to figure out a way so I could properly display the graph or even zoom in to see data. However, I did find this part challenging because a lot of the times the code doesn't cooperate with what I wanted to do. So sometimes things are not going to work in general.